I've been told that the dream is always better than the reality. Got this 41 cab over, and I've envisioned it with a mid-engine setup, big cubic inch motor, transmission with an overdrive, dualies, low. Problem was, I got a donor truck and it came with an automatic turbo 400. I know it's a Chevy, and no overdrive. So I had a friend that donated to the project, gave me some transmissions, even a transfer case. And this transmission in the center here is what I'm interested in because it has overdrive. And the other thing that's so interesting is that it's already set up for a cab over. You can see the shifter is remote over to the side, and then you place this inside the cab wherever you want, and it's connected by this rod. That is so ingenious. It came out of a Crown bus, and so we know it's durable. So I cannot wait to kind of put it together. I've got the engine, transmission, I've got the rear end, got a frame over there. Now it's just kind of getting it together, and then down the road figuring out how to steer and stop the thing. The dream is better than the reality. So does that mean that I'm going to kind of run into problems along the way? Oh yeah. Does that mean it's may not drive and steer and shift? And yeah, I know that. But what I don't know is, why are these things this way? Why is it that we know in our minds that things should be a certain way? Talking with some folks this past Sunday, and it was so interesting because we were talking about our readings here in Exodus. And they brought this up, and I absolutely love this. They say in Exodus 25:40, and look, that thou make them after the pattern which was shown thee in the mount. And so they shared with me that their idea is that God did more than just share words with them. He shared a pattern. When you look up that word in the Hebrew, it can mean pattern or plan. It's as if God rolled out the plans for how things were intended to be. Well, interesting enough, when you read in Hebrews, which is an interesting book because Hebrews is kind of like a snippet of the Old Testament in the New Testament. And so I kind of crack up when people are saying, well, the Old Testament isn't for us today. And you look at Matthew and you look at Hebrews, and there's so much tie to the Old Testament. But I digress. In Hebrews 8:3, for every high priest is ordained to offer gifts and sacrifices, wherefore it is of necessity that this man have somewhat also to offer. Then it goes on and it says in verse 5, who serve unto an example and a shadow of heavenly things, as Moses was admonished of God when he went about to make the tabernacle. Then it goes and it says, see, saith he that maketh all things according to the pattern showed to thee in the mount. So here we see that the writer of Hebrews is saying the stuff that Moses was shown in the mount is a pattern of things to come. What things? Heavenly things. Heavenly things. In chapter 10, it says, verse 1, for the law, having a shadow of good things to come. Well, see, the law was only going to show our guilt. And the tabernacle and the temple was only going to point to something else. This is what he goes on to say in verse 4. For it is not possible that the blood of bulls and of goats should take away sin. Then as you continue to read on, he tells you who came to take away sin, and that's Jesus. And I love it because it says in verses 10 through 14 numerous times, once for all, once for all. And this is such a big deal because these bulls and goats were offered over and over and over. It's as if God has got to repeat things over and over and over. I was told by a teacher that if you want to get a message across, you've got to repeat it. And this is what God did, is he was repeating this message over and over. So I'm still struck with this idea of, why is it that we know that things aren't quite right? Like if I tried to convince you, oh yeah, that truck's done, you would know it's not done. We inherently know that things aren't quite right. Well, that's not done because you've seen trucks that are done. We know when we look around in this world that things are not quite right. And interesting enough, unlike the truck, it's not because we've seen it. In Ecclesiastes 3:11, it says that he's put eternity in our hearts. It's as if we have that pattern already in us, so we were able to look at things and go, this isn't right. This is not right. Romans says that he wrote the law in our hearts. We look around. This is not right. Jesus come to make it right. But what's interesting is, in his first appearance here on earth, he came to really extend grace to mankind so that mankind can make things right with God before God subdues all things. And he's going to make it all right. Will I make all this right? I don't know. I have a dream. I have a hope. People keep donating things to the project. That may get it done. I don't know. But I'm going to tell you what God brings about, it will get done. So there is a pattern. And we can take a look at that pattern. And I think that it would be really important for us to do that on a regular basis. I want to thank you guys for viewing these videos. I want to thank you for sharing them. My prayer is to be a blessing to you, that you might be a light unto all those round about you. This world needs light in these dark times. They need to see a pattern of what God has intended for mankind. Let's read it. Let's demonstrate it. May God bless you. Take care.